10 years. 10 years ago, just about, I started playing this. And now we are going to celebrate its 10th year together. So we're going to go over every item added in this update, starting with the most exciting bunch, the conveyors. So we got two that go upside down and can be moved up and down, which is very nice. And then you have two basic ones. And that's about all you need to know. I guess if I had to rate them based on their appearance, since really that's the only thing that we can go off of here, I'll give this one a 7, 7, 7, 7. But you're not here for conveyors. You're here for this. The Decade Haven Cake. What a legendary piece of art this thing is. I would say how it actually functions is irrelevant, because that's not why you would be using this in the first place. You'd be using it just because it looks like this. So that's what I'm going to judge it based off of. And honestly, when I look at it, it just reminds me of how young I'm not anymore. Next, we have Bunzilla. Bunzilla is a simple upgrader. Takes your ore, multiplies it by 7. It also turns it brown and sets it on fire. So if that's what you're into, then you got the perfect upgrader. There is no evolution of this, strangely enough, for now, so this is as good as it's gonna be. I do like how it's coffee themed, though. It's in perfect timing for that pumpkin spice season. Now we have the Lucky Sevens cake. If you love gambling like a degenerate, you got the perfect upgrader here. Well, not really, but what it does is it's mostly pedestrian upgrades with the very low chance of being absolutely outstanding. There's also a 10% chance that it just simply kills your ore and turns it to $0. So there's that. Let's see if we can catch that. $14. $0. Very nice. The problem is this times 70 upgrader, which is the one you actually want. It's obviously rare. It's a 1% chance. So I would imagine using this at the end of a Schrodinger setup and having it turn to $0 would be the greatest thing ever. You should do that. Next, we have the freshly baked upside down pineapple cake, hell of a name, and the eternal cake. Both are anti-gravity upgraders that add a modest, but still pretty decent, 10 times and 8 times, respectively. Except this one has a bonus 2 times if it's still upside down for a while. So, there's them. This one has a hell of a look to it. Looks like it just came out of a wormhole. And I like the interstellar look of it. Looks really good. And here is another cake-related one. And this was an aura upgrader, where if you use it before any cake upgraders, it makes them better. And now we are done with the cake-related items. Now it's time to proceed to the slightly more boring collectible tiers. Never mind, this is anything but boring. It's a goddamn bouncy house. Unfortunately, you actually can't bounce inside of the bouncy house. Otherwise, this would be 53 times better. But it's actually a surprisingly good upgrader if you get it pretty early, which, if you just start playing the game, then yeah, it's going to be a great upgrader. Other than that, it's simply just an aesthetic upgrader, which is nice to have in your inventory, I suppose, because there isn't enough things in your inventory already. This one is really cute. It's a multiplier that's better if you have friends in the server. Well, there's 2 in here right now, so instead of it being a times 10 multiplier, it'll be a times 14 multiplier. Ain't that adorable? I do actually like the look of it. Very, very classic and very classic looking. Especially that. Next we have the Havenpreneur upgrader, which actually is pretty awesome. It turns your ore into research crates. Oh, that's good too. The bigger the ore is, the bigger the research crates are as well. Do you know what I'm thinking? Yes. Tiny iron mine ores can also go through this. Here we have a pineapple stand. It's more of an aesthetic upgrader once again, because I don't know who would really use this beyond life 50 maybe? But if you have a pineapple upgrader, it's marginally better to use this. It's 3 times, but if a pineapple refiner is used before it, guess what? It's 4 times instead. I can't believe it. Next, we have the gravitational gyrocopter. It's an anti-gravity furnace. We're going to deduct points right there. And it multiplies the ore based on how much height it has. Ain't that neat? The multiplier itself is pretty pedestrian, but you know what? It looks pretty cool. Next, we're doing the reborn fusions. First things first is the pizza cutter, which is a great upgrader between the pizza furnace and the ore sawmill. It turns your ore into 8 slices of pizza and multiplies the ore by 5. Time for the most pizza you've ever seen in your life. And instant lag is the answer. This is a research point farm in itself. Look at those 2 research points go. But yeah, I believe this is more or less a meme item, but you know what? I'm glad it exists. Now, I don't know if the same thing can be said about this next upgrader. So this is the Gate of Eclipse and the Guardian of the Gate combined. And it's a pretty okay upgrader during the nighttime and slightly worse during the daytime, and even more worse if you're actually at your base. And it's massive. Here's an example of it. It's 95 times right now because it's nighttime, but it would be slightly more if I wasn't on my base. But that doesn't mean it's all amazing. But you could probably get this pretty early, so it'd probably be pretty good. I mean, I'm sure from the perspective of a Life 2000, this actually isn't half bad. But from the perspective of endgame, yeah, you're not going to be using it. Ancient Catalyst. This is the Catalyst and Ancient Coliseum combined. It's just a simple 55 times to 65 times multiplier. Pretty good, and I like the look of it. It looks really grim and melancholic looking. Next, we have a pretty serious advanced fusion item. The Big Fluxus. I might have pronounced that wrong, I don't care. This is between the Skyliner Flux and the Big Alberto. And if you use it once, it's 100 times. And if you use it twice, it's 300 additional times multiplier. Which means pretty goddamn good. You would probably be using this in an endgame setup. It's also massive and looks like a quasar of some kind. And you know what? It is what it is. It's a pretty good multiplier. Oh yeah, I probably also should have mentioned you can do this with it, which is pretty useful as well. We have another reborn item here that multiplies ores based on height. The only thing really worth knowing is that if it's all the way up here, it's a 13.2, very random, times multiplier. I like all the clouds surrounding it. And that does not get any different with the evolved version of this one. But I also should have mentioned, there is a second half of this upgrader as well. And this one is slightly better. And if you're all the way up here, with this thing at max height, it's 90 times, which is pretty good. But I don't think it's good enough. But it's still pretty good. It also looks really nice, but, you know, honestly, who really cares about that? Actually, I'll take that back. You should care about appearance, because look at the Meatball Sub's new evolution. And it's good. It's 75 times straight up. And that is pretty... It's okay. It's not half bad. And it looks like this. I would say that's a complete win in my book. And last but not least, we have the Turtle Dignifier's evolution. Now, just looking at it, I think we know what this is trying to imitate. And I would say they did a pretty good job. Now this is a 25 times multiplier, and it adds 3 shields to your ore, if it's wet. Now the problem is, that is not resettable, which I wouldn't expect it to be, but the multiplier is, so it's pretty good. However, there is a small collectible I didn't get yet. Allow me to fix that. That took very little time, actually. Behold! Another inventory slot to scroll through. Multiplies your ore by 3, and it makes it immune to fire. Once. So, there's that. However, there is also so much more added to this update that I didn't even talk about yet. Like most of the decor that's around my base. And the map is slightly modified right now. I don't know if you noticed. This side is looking a lot more simple and vibrant. And there's been a whole heaping list of changes of buffs, nerfs, and reworks to a bunch of items that I don't know if you really want me to go through all of, so I'll just flash it on the screen for you. Needlessly to say, all of these changes did make my setup, that's bad, slightly more bad. So my setup is still this. The only thing different is there's Leprechauns added. And it's still bad. And this update just made it slightly more bad. Sometimes it works really fast. Most of the time, it doesn't though. Except now, I think I'm about to change that. You see, I think I'm going to keep the layout the exact same, except I very, very likely have more than enough upgraders to simply get rid of one of these. So, that one. And then keep the rest. Obviously, this isn't a revolutionary idea, it's one that's actively used. And I think I should probably join in on that. So, that's what's going to be in store for that. But for now, I think I'm going to call it here. So thank you for watching. 10 years of Miners Haven. Here's to another 10. I'm not expecting myself to make a 20-year anniversary. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't know, I feel like every single ride to a video game's life eventually ends. But you know what? We're just going to enjoy the ride while it lasts. So, thank you for watching the 10-year anniversary video, which, I mean, probably wasn't that great, but here you go. This is what I think. Update is good. Now time to go make my setup good. You know what? I think this setup is absolutely perfect. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bask in the sight of the greatest limited shiny of all time. Thank you.